But I'm joined now by Jayden Sheeran and Ange Sheeran. Jayden is the son of Jodie Sheeran, who was raped by a member of a grooming gang at just aged 14. She was plied with Malibu before being taken to a hotel room by a group of older men for an Eid party. She woke hours later and remembered only regaining consciousness to find she had been raped at a hotel in Blurton, in Staffordshire. She became pregnant and DNA evidence supported her allegations, but the Crown Prosecution Service dropped the case on the day of the trial without explanation. She later died in tragic and disputed circumstances. Jayden was the son of Jodie and has spoken publicly about his traumatic upbringing. And Ange was Jodie's mother, Jayden's grandmother. Jayden and Ange, join me now. Can I just say thank you so much for having the tenacity, the temerity and the strength to talk about everything you went through. And I really don't even know where to begin. And it really is a great honour that I get to have this conversation with you. Jayden, I'm going to start with you. How, as you grow up, did you wrap your head around the circumstances within which you were born?
Can you hear me well?
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. To be honest with you, it's a whirlwind of emotions, so you don't really know how to feel. Like, growing up, it's like you feel a bit different to everyone else. So it's hard to explain and put into words how you do feel, to be honest with you.
I would imagine that that incredible woman next to you and your grandmother stroke your mother figure has been a huge amount of comfort. Ange, I mean, you have seen the most appalling thing happen to your daughter and have been able to rise to the challenge of giving Jayden a stable and supportive upbringing. How have you coped with everything along the way?
It's been so hard. I've been trying for over 2 years now to try and seek some form of justice for her, because she was found dead all alone. She was scared of dying. But everyone I've turned to, I've had doors shut in my face. I've tried every politician. I've gone to the highest level with the police, the highest level with the Crown Prosecution Service. I've been to every news channel, every TV magazine, everything, and nobody would respond or help me. I just kept having doors slammed in my face. And all the evidence was there. She was raped. They got the DNA evidence of the attacker, and she was plied with that much alcohol. They said she wouldn't have been aware of what happened to her. And yet on the day of the trial, the CID officer came out and said, "I've got some bad news. We're sorry they dropped the case." I said, like, why, you know, if you've got the DNA, why? She says, all I can say is he got himself a very good solicitor and they see Jodie as an unreliable witness. That was it. We never had nothing in writing, nothing at all. That was the only reason we had.
Jayden or Ange, what would justice look like? What do you want to see happen? The circumstances surrounding all of this is just, it's far more harrowing and awful than most people can bear to think about. Most people have never gone through anything like this in their lives. What is it that you need to now see happen to begin to take a step towards righting such awful, horrific wrongs?
Yeah, I want him behind bars and some type of punishment. I think he's cost my mum her life. To be honest, I think he's cost me my life. I had a lot of, when I was younger, growing up, I had a lot of dreams to do a lot of things when I was older. They're all out the window now because my mum's not here. So I think it's best he pays for what he's done. They pay for what they've done. All of them, every single one of them. It's disgusting, and I think it's bang out of order what's happened now. We've been treated by governments, everyone. I think it's bang out of order. And for now, 2 years later, after she's passed away, obviously I'm glad attention's picking up on it, but it's 2 years on as well now. I'm also 19 years of age. It's 19 years too late, I think. something's got to be done, and something's got to be done soon.
Do you have any awareness of what this man is doing now?
I believe he's in the same area as us, so for me it's quite scary for me and my family. But the fact of
you came face to face with him, didn't you?
Yeah, it's the fact of we've got to walk around this area knowing full well we're in the same vicinity as these males, and knowing we've got to go work every day. Personally, I look over my shoulder every day because I don't know who's watching me, who's looking out to me. I know these males are dangerous, and I think what we're doing now will hopefully bring justice. But I think in the long run, they're still here. They're still in the same vicinity as us. So, in my opinion, I think nothing's changed, and I just hope there's some change soon.
Has this man ever faced any sort of punishment for his disgusting, reprehensible actions, which, as far as I can see, are totally supported with evidence that this is very easily proven?
No, what's funny is what I know of is the ad is DNA, but they wouldn't take my DNA. So they had everything they needed. I'm also living proof, and I've said I'm more than happy to give DNA, whatever, to get this sorted, but they still wouldn't take it on. So therefore, I think it's bang up. It's outrageous, to be honest, and it makes me blood boil that I have to come on here and show my face and to say physically how angry I am with it all. We've
been told that because the police and CPS, they've both blamed one another. Vice versa, they've said it's each of their faults, and they've said, why aren't the Sheeran family taking out their own personal criminal case against the assailant? But I've been warned by that, because I did ask an MP last year to use his parliamentary privilege to actually name the attacker, and that all fell through. That didn't happen. But then it emerged that if he would have used his parliamentary privilege to name the attacker, Jodie's attacker then would come at the family and sue us. So then, not only would I was willing to do it, but not only then would he have took my daughter, I could have then been lining his pockets and making him rich. And he'd already took my daughter, so I wasn't willing to do that.
The burning sense of injustice in all of this, the way that right and wrong have been tilted upside down and on their head, and no one is giving you the time to listen to you. Have you at least had support, Jayden, in everything that you've gone through?
Absolutely none. Nothing. I was in and out of residential care homes when I turned 14, 15, after my mum was going through domestic abuse. I had no... Even in the care homes, I thought it was out of order. I was treated. Got sent from Crewe up to Scotland, which is 4 to 5 hours away. I come back from Scotland, and then it was only 4 to 5 months later my mum passed away. So, and from there, I've still had nothing. From when media's got attention from it, I've had no support, nothing. I just think, more than me, to be honest, from my point of view, I think my nan needs a lot of support as well.
Yeah.
Because it's the situation my nan's in. She's lost her daughter. I've took a step up and realised that for the first 6 months she passed away, I was in my own shell. I didn't speak to no one. I didn't want to talk about it. I didn't want to come publicly about it. But it's got to a point where my nan's suffering that bad, and I'm still suffering mentally, that I've got to do this to get some sort of justice. And at some point, I'm hoping at some point something will come from it. Even if it's a bit of support, a tiny bit, just anything.
Listen, it's of no surprise to anybody what you've been through and what you are having to carry as a young man aged 19, and how this has impacted you. That you are as eloquent and put together and brave as you are right now, talking about how your nan needs support. And Ange, I cannot imagine how you feel at all to try and find the resolve now to put your arm around that boy, your amazing, amazing grandson, and fight for the both of you. How hard is it on a day-to-day basis? I mean, we all wake up in the mornings and think our job's rubbish, our relationships having difficulties, the commute to work is a pain in the neck, finances are tight, whatever it may be. I cannot even imagine how you carry with you the burden of what you have had to face. Ange, how do you do it?
it's very hard. My life's broken. My life will never be the same again. The only thing that's keeping me going is trying to gain justice for lovely Jodie. Yeah, it might not be justice with a capital J, but that is the only thing that keeps me going day in, day out. I'm forever campaigning, doing things. Just that's the only thing that keeps me going.
Well, when people are closing the door, when people are saying, look, we'd love to help, but that, well, there's a risk here that actually he might fight back and actually end up gaining financially as a result. What sort of things are people saying to you that have caused them to shy away from taking up your cause?
I went to a meeting last year. I met with my MP and the head of the police, and that was very upsetting because the MP halfway through walked out of the meeting without saying why. The police says you need to let this go, and I said, well, I want to go public with this, but even my own local newspaper won't print it.
Why do you need to let this go? Why do they think they have the authority to tell you both that you need to just live with it, this huge thing that is such a massive demon, a massive shadow cast over both of your lives, the absolute disgusting injustice of what this vile, despicable monster of a man has done, that you need to let it go? For whom? Why? Why do you need to let it go?
I believe personally it's to cover it all up. I think it has been for a long time now, and I think it's only the last couple of years where they're starting bringing it publicly. I think that they're dying to throw it under the bus and act like this doesn't happen. I think it's absolutely shocking. It's mental that my nan has had to go through all this and still to this day, still nothing. It blags my head at such a young age as well. I look at the whole situation, I think at different points, but I think how bad it is, how my nan and myself have been treated, my whole family, we're all broken. None of us will ever be the same again. We used to all have little family meetups. They don't happen no more ever since my mum's passed away. And that's only on certain people to blame. And honestly, I don't know what else to say other than it proper infuriates me blood.
They've said they've come so far at that meeting, the police, they said, when I said I wanted to go public, they turned around and they said, well, if you go public, the public can be nasty people. Are you ready for like the nasty comments? I said, I've lost my daughter, you know, I'm ready for anything. But they said, you're more than welcome to help us raise awareness, but there's nothing more we can do on getting justice for your daughter.
And another thing is, sorry for interrupting, but some of the comments that my nan's received since obviously coming online, like blame the parents and things like that, I think shame on you, because blame the parents. What sort of situation are the parents in to help a young woman in that type of life? The words groomed means a big thing, and if you look into the meaning of groomed, it's out of the parents' control once they are being groomed, in my opinion. So I think the comments and the backlash has been getting since coming online, it's absolutely disgusting.
Talk to me, Ange, about your late daughter Jodie. Talk to me about what happened, how she ended up in this just tragic of circumstances, how she then bore that throughout her life.
I didn't even know grooming existed. It was me and Jodie were sat on our settee 2018, 2019, and we watched a programme called Three Girls, and we sat there and watched it, and we both looked at one another, and I said, oh my goodness. I said, that's you. I said, that's you to a T. And that's when I realised, I mean, it took till 2019 that she had been groomed, because like I say, the amount of times I rang the police, because I was told to report each and every time, which I did every single time, and the police would bring her back. And they said, if your daughter keeps doing what she's doing, she's going to end up dead or raped. But now I think back, and I should have fought stronger then, because the police were finding her in cars with males under the influence, and all these males were over the age of 23, 24. My daughter was 14 at the time, but the police were basically making out that she was a naughty little girl, a naughty tearaway.
And they weren't doing anything about the men?
No, the men were never arrested or anything like that. They just kept bringing Jodie back to me, and they were allowed to carry on. But had they done what they should have done at the beginning when the case came to trial and it was dropped on the case, I've found out since, and this is 110% true, that there are more victims out there, and that Jayden has got a lot of half siblings out there as well, and all in the Stoke-on-Trent area.
It wouldn't surprise me at all. Why were these men not arrested by the police, do you think?
I don't know. Thinking back, I don't know. I suppose this day and age now, they would, but back then, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Is it a racial thing? I don't know, because like I say, there's bad in every race, every what's it, you know, it's not just certain races. So I don't know if back then it could have been a racial thing. I honestly don't know, unless they were scared, unless, I don't know, you hear so many things about cover-ups. Somebody has asked the former CID officer who, through the case, she helped us all the way through, and to be fair, she was exceptional. She came out on the day of the trial to inform us. She's since retired, and we have asked her, not me personally, but somebody on my behalf has asked her to come forward and give like a bit of insight into the case, and she's refused to comment and refused to help, which has shocked me because I had so much respect for that lady. She's a mum herself.
One assumes that she might also be worried, I don't know, about what might happen as a result. Jayden, you suggested earlier that these men, that your father, and I don't think he deserves that title, I don't want to use that word actually, the man who is responsible for what happened to your mother is still at large and in your community.
Yeah, I think it scares me. Yeah, it scares me. Honestly, it scares me that I've got to, like everyone's normal in this household. We all go to work. We all live normal lives, and it scares me that I go to work. I look over my shoulder every day because I don't know who's out there to get me, and it's people might think, oh, I'm not joking. It's scary, and I'm more scared for my family just as well as myself, because these males, they know where my grandparents reside, whatever you want to call it. They're not daft, and I know they are dangerous, because let's be honest, if they weren't dangerous, could they be capable of doing something like that to a woman? I don't think so. I think you have to have something not all there to do something like that to a grown woman. Do you know what I mean? So I think them being in the same area as us just scares us all, because we don't know what's coming or what's around the corner.
I cannot believe, Jayden, for your age, 19 you say, I can't believe your composure and your strength. Listening to you talk now, and the fact that you constantly think about your nan and what she's going through, the maturity and the dignity and the integrity that you have, young man, I'm sorry, it's amazing. It's really quite astonishing. And Ange, to you as well, when you had the humility to talk about this isn't about all people of one race or one community, these are about individuals. The two of you are shining examples of compassion, dignity and strength. And I am so sorry that people have not listened to you, that the authorities have closed the doors on you. And I really hope in some small way that talking today, the bravery it's taken to do this will begin to, I just hope and pray, turn things in the right direction, because the two of you are a credit to yourselves, a credit to each other, a credit to society at large. And I cannot wrap my head around or fathom what you have been through. There are no words. There really aren't. I've got to take a break now, but listen, Jayden, Ange, I really I want to thank you so much for sharing your story and your experience, anything that we can do to shine a light and to help you get that justice. Because I think anyone listening to this right now knows that what has happened is so incredibly, despicably vile and wrong, that the perpetrator and perpetrators of this are still living their lives free of the torture that you two are having to bear. Thank you for coming on the programme, both of you, and my thoughts and prayers will be with you. Right, we're going to take a short break now. That really was quite astonishing, incredibly moving. It's one of those circumstances where you just think there are no words that can even describe or explain or begin to even compute what we have just listened to. Right, let's gather ourselves. Let's be as strong and as brave as Jayden and Ange and take a break. Stay with me. We're going to be going back to the day's news. But if you want to share your thoughts, your words of support, your prayers, your reaction to what we have just heard, how can we help Jayden and Ange get justice? The number to call 0344 499 1000. Use that number to send me a WhatsApp message or leave me a voice note. Text, of course, 87222. Right, talk before your message, and let's all take a deep breath, because that really was a deeply moving interview. Like I said, I'm lost for words. It's not often that I am, but I'm lost for words.